Every morning we wake up and pray for the world. Every morning we wake up and walk through the cold. The ache in our feet is a shadow next to the suffering of others. They are struggling, forced to endure difficult lives.
Town to town, we see crystal trees. Walking from town to town, we met all people. Abiding cold burns our faces, forcing us to walk more mindfully along the streets. We owe our gratitude to this land, shaped by the hands and footsteps of many generations.
We carried love and kindness and compassion along the road, carrying hope and the unity flag. We marched forward. The sun shines through the cold, just as the people welcome us along the road. Our hearts feel warm and happy
when peace bracelets, crying tears of joy.
We're walking through the snow,
wishing for peace and unity
to grow along the way and flourish all over the world. And compassion along the road, carrying hope and the unity flag. We march forward. The sun shines through the cold, just as the people welcome us along the road. Our hearts feel warm and happy when people receive peace bracelets, crying tears of joy. We're walking through snow,
wishing for peace and unity to grow along the way
and flourish all over the world. Stopping by town after town, we share our journey.
Stopping by church after church, we share our stories. The biting cold brings a strange peace, drawing us together to share our hearts with joy. We bow with gratitude to our ancestors who have built and entrusted this peaceful land to us all. We bow with gratitude to all people who spiritually walk for peace everywhere in the world.
Hey, greetings everybody. I hope you can hear me okay out there. Welcome to an unscheduled pop-up episode of Live from the Hermitage. I missed y'all. That's actually why I'm doing it. I couldn't do an episode on Saturday. I may not be able to do an episode this Saturday. We'll have to see. It's really sort of weather dependent. I was thinking today when I was, farming the solar to be able to do this show, how about dependent origination, right? And how everything starts with something, right? And so how a sunshiny day can lead to, one thing, which is, full power packs, which in turn leads to, internet, which in turn leads to, me doing this show, connecting with the Dharma and talking to all of you guys and visiting with y'all. It's been a minute, like I said. And then this big elaborate show, right? We're gonna do. I got all kinds of stuff I want to show you and talk to you guys about. So it's just weird how just something very simple, something so basic like a sunny day, can you can unfurl all of these consequences. You can create, you can really almost generate like a flow of karma from that moment if you understand, how that works, And anyway, so just some thoughts that I had while I was like queuing up the show tonight. So tonight we're going to talk about a bunch of interesting things, but that I wanted to go over, and it has to do with the Hermitage. We'll talk just quickly, give you some news. We last week we had a huge snowstorm, and I think I put some pictures out. You guys might have seen. We got buried alive, and then just a few days ago. We had a huge rainstorm, very warm and sort of tropical. Well, it wasn't, like completely warm, but it was relatively speaking warmer rainstorm, which instantly melted all the snow and pretty much left us an island up here on the mountain. The roads aren't just impassable at this point; they're underwater, and so we're kind of an island. It may be possible still to hike, material up to the Hermitage. I certainly hope so. We're going to try, I think, tomorrow and see how that goes. See if we have any casualties. But it's been a tough winter, and I can't lie and say that it's good to see the ending of it, and we're definitely reaching the end of what constitutes winter up here. The last couple of days have been nice and sunny. I've got some work done. I'm going to do a stream today and probably one tomorrow if I can pull it off. I've got another topic for tomorrow. But that's kind of the news on the Hermitage. But everything's still standing, though. And that's the key thing is, we endured like some howling storms, like some really like ones that could have been quite catastrophic, especially the fact that we're facing them in tents, right? But everything's everything. Not one single thing blew away or fell down. Even like our little sign out front, which it's just a lawn sign, right? It's just a Vistaprint lawn sign. I half expect after every storm to see that thing somewhere in like Oregon, right? And like, but it maybe get a little crooked. We go down and straighten it out. You know what I mean? And but we've endured the winter, and I'm quite proud of the setup, I think, because it was quite thoughtful. I tried to think through, the bare minimum I would need, and in a lot of cases it's bare minimum. I'm not going to try to, sugarcoat that. It's been tough, but I managed to nail it. It worked. I don't want to do it a second winter. I'm really hoping to get the shelters up by maybe the end of this calendar year, so that I can not winter quite like this, not quite so rough. But and also the expense. The propane is hideous, guys. You cannot imagine the amount. I don't even want to talk about. The amount of money that I have spent on propane is ridiculous. And we've got some solutions for that too. My friend down at the bottom of the mountain is trying out a new technology, a new kind of thing. It's a little diesel heater, actually, and I want to see it in operation, before I sort of commit to like getting one myself. Hopefully that wasn't our internet, that was the router falling down, but. And anyway, anything can happen on this show. Anyway, so that's the news on the Hermitage. We're here, and we're gonna do everything in our power to stay here at the Hermitage. The whole idea of a Hermitage, guys, just so we're clear. I actually do want to be a hermit, like a religious hermit, preferably a monastic hermit, and so I don't want to leave here, and I'm perfectly happy not to. I've been up here now. Throughout the entire storm season, I haven't left the Hermitage. All of our material has been delivered to us from my family, who has supported us really in the very classical sense of the way that the Sangha is supposed to support a place like this. Very open-handedly and coming up here whenever was needed. So we've gotten through. On the first, we're going to begin talking about how we start building this place out. and I've got a plan for that, and really a site plan for pretty much the entire property. At this point, we've been here long enough, and I've had time to explore the property. But as we talked about so often, we will have a prayer hall. It'll be pretty decent. It'll be rustic, but it'll be pretty decent. I'm going to finish it myself. It's just going to be a tiny home shed, but I'm going to finish the inside of it. And then we'll fundraise for, all the accoutrements, like the meditation cushions and, some stuff for the altar and stuff like that, and we'll pretty it up. And then what we're going to talk about tonight is the Founders Program, which it really kind of dovetails a little bit into the idea of the prayer hall. And it's going to be very small, guys. It's not going to be like a huge temple, okay, guys? I mean, this whole place is very much a cheap date. The property itself costs less than $5,000. We're not finished paying the note off yet, so that's why donations are super gratefully accepted, because we still are paying the note. And we have two other small bills. We have a mobile bill for my cellular phone, and we have a Starlink bill that we pay every month. That's it. That's really totally it. And just so you have an idea, the mortgage is like $65. Of course, that's a lot of money if you don't have $65. So, and man, I tell you, I could have paid a lot of mortgage payments for the amount of propane I wasted this season. So we're going to try to fix that, but by the end of the year. But we're also going to try to get some cool stuff in, like a driveway, a walking path, so it's safer to walk around the property, and just and some fencing. I think is those are the things we want to focus on this year. That will be super beneficial to helping us continue to steward the property. I'm ever mindful that this is not designed to be my home. This is designed to belong to the entire Sangha, and so it's ever on my mind, ever on my conscience, that I'm stewarding this place for all of us. And so in that vein, that's what we're going to talk about tonight. I'll have the diesel heater running in a couple of weeks. I know the part. So anyway, guys, first of all, say hi in the chat if you're watching, and make sure to comment on this video if you watch it on the replay, which most of my viewers will watch this after the fact. So, so the first thing, I just want to say we have a raffle going. Somebody try it. I guess I should try it, right, and see if it's actually working. Huh. Nada. Well, that's disappointing. Let's go over here to Mr. Bot and find out why. Oh, I'm in though. It gave me a ticket. It just didn't announce the ticket. And did you guys see it in chat? Does anybody see that in chat? Oh, there it is. Okay. I see it. So what, is my chat tab not working? Maybe I have to refresh my chat tab. Well, let me see if this works. So guys, another thing I wanted to talk about, we have a Discord channel. Love to see people get involved, more involved with the Discord. I'll try to make it into a pretty decent little Discord server by the by. So so join the Discord server. And then what we're going to talk about right now, and I'm going to bust open another thing in a second here. Just so we're going to talk about this, which is the let me bring up the browser. Hopefully it's correct. Oh, it's on the bot. All right, this is what we want. There we go. All right. So this is the founders page on the website for our founders program, and we've had this going since the beginning, and it's actually how we were able to fund everything from, well, not everything. I think me and the boys were begging on the ground too in Antioch, and had our bowl out every day pretty relentlessly, and I think we paid for the down payment out of the bowl, and like some other little items that we paid for out of the begging bowl that we flew down in Antioch. We were homeless, of course, when we bought this place. And there's 2 missing. I know there's at least 2 here on this page that are not up yet. One of the things I started to do this evening, and I'm going to continue later on this evening and tomorrow working on, is I think there's less than 10 founders right now, and I'm going to make sure I've got them all on a list, got their email addresses, got their certificates sent out to them. I think some folks haven't even gotten their certificate yet, a couple. And just tidy that the whole program up, because there's a lot to this. And so if you go to the page, you've got a button here to become a founder, and that's one way to do it. Also, there's a link in the description of this video that takes you, I think, directly to the perk on the fundraiser page. What you have to do is claim the perk that's on our standard fundraiser page, and it's called the founder perk, but I've linked to it in the description below, and the button on this page here if you go see our other founders. So what is this all about? Well, first of all, we needed a group like this for a bunch of different reasons. I mean, I actually envision this being like the council of the founders eventually, where you as a founder, you would have input. You would have input into, the management and the upkeep of the Dharma Wheel Hermitage. If we do end up having to do our own nonprofit, I mean, I would want to draw from the pool of people who were founders for any kind of board that we might need, any kind of board of directors or anything like that. So that there's that. I definitely want their input. I wouldn't mind meeting like once every, I don't know, 6 months or so. I wouldn't want to make it tedious, like a chore, but meet up with all the founders and just, hash out stuff and listen to ideas and everything like that. So there's that sort of aspect of it. As for just like direct benefits, and I've said this before, and I think it might confuse people, so I want to explain. But free camping here for retreat purposes on the Hermitage property for life. Now, that might confuse some people who have heard about the Dharma Wheel Hermitage before. You might say, well, I thought it was all going to be free anyway. Well, it will be. There may be, though, a suggested donation scheme eventually. Having people up here with RVs and vehicles and tents is possible, but it's also going to be a drain. It's going to be a drain on everything, from the property to the roads to you name it. And so it's fair that if somebody has a really nice expensive fifth wheel Winnebago, then they can certainly afford a modest donation to the Hermitage. It would be sort of expected. With the founders, it will never be expected. There will never be a discussion of that. As long as the Hermitage isn't closed for a retreat, they will be welcome here. Even in the dead of winter, if you want to hike up the mountain, good luck. I mean, get your snowshoes out or whatever, bring a sled to pull your stuff up, and you can camp in the snow. It can be done. We did it ourselves. So, and so there's that. There's free camping for life. One of the ones that we've talked about that I think a lot of the founders actually signed up just for this part of it, this part of the benefit. Let me turn my notifications off here. And that is, we're going to have a plaque in the prayer hall. Eventually metallic. At first it'll probably just be something that we print up. But eventually, once we have a finished building, we'll actually have like a real like some sort of brass kind of engraved plaque with the names of all the founders, and I guess whatever message they want, like too. I think, I don't know if anybody's done this yet, but some of the founders may want to do an in memoriam message. You know what I mean? Like, founder Frank Smith, for my mom, or something like that. That kind of thing. And we'll do that. We'll accommodate that on both the temporary plaque and the permanent plaque. The temporary plaque will go in right away. I can get that done at Vistaprint, and we'll put something in whatever temporary prayer hall I put up this summer. But then when we have the permanent finished building up, we'll put a nice metallic one up. And then in addition to that, there'll be other things, and we're going to talk about some of those things tonight, but other possible monuments or memorials or such around the property. And wherever appropriate and wherever there's space lends itself, we will memorialize all the founders in those. I don't know what they might be at this point, but I can envision something like that evolving here on the property. So they'll be included in that as well. Another benefit is that I wish we could do this for everybody, guys, but we just can't. We would be doing nothing else but that. But founders, if they want to leave in their final testament, their final will or testament, if they want to leave the Hermitage some small portion of their relics, for instance, if they've been cremated, their ashes, and have those ashes conveyed, it doesn't have to be all the ashes, just some amount, conveyed to the Hermitage, we will spread them on the Hermitage property. Either, we'll have a Buddha at some point, an outdoor Buddha, and then we'll have Tara's Grove as well, which will be a special grove where Tara is venerated. So can have their ashes spread on the Hermitage property. Another benefit is the founders can get with me and they can obtain a prayer flag, a big long one for the main tree, and pray over it and then send it to me, and I will put it up and take a video of us putting it up and doing a little, saying a little service, saying a little prayer as we put the prayer flag up. So that's yet another sort of benefit. And of course, there's the esteem that you would be treated on this property as somebody who helped us build it, always, by myself and my family, who are going to help me caretake it probably throughout the years. And also, you cannot make light of the merit. Helping to build a place like this is going to be for the long. This is a place that is going to be built to last, guys. We're going to give this to hi Ms. Irene. Good to see you. There's a bit of a delay in the chat, but I just saw your name pop up. Good evening. But there's a good deal of merit of folks in being involved in the Founders Program here and helping us to build this and being memorialized on the property the way we plan. There's a good deal of merit in that, and we're gonna explore in a second here how that merit even multiplies even more, because one of the things that we're going to do, and we're going to talk about it now at length, because I want to do a whole episode. I'm going to do many episodes on this, especially as we actually start getting ready to do this. But so where should I start here? Let's go here. So one of the first times, and I love how they actually call this the Dead Sea Scrolls of Buddhism. I want to make sure you guys can see this good, okay? So they call this the Dead Sea Scrolls of Buddhism. It's really changed the way, first of all, that so much is understood, especially how Mahayana scripture was transmitted to modern times, and whatnot. This all takes place in Kandahar, in Afghanistan. And for those who maybe are only slightly familiar, just think about the big giant Buddhas that the Taliban blew up, and you've got it pretty much right on the button. But in its heyday, around the birth of Christ, actually, around the beginning of the Christian era or whatnot, that is when the Kandahar region was actually a kingdom, and it was like a Buddhist Shangri-La. It was like just thousands of temples and monasteries and little learning centers and colleges and universities where people gathered and debated philosophy and the scriptures. The scripture Gandhar is now Gandhari in the Kharoshthi script is now considered one of the main original scripture languages for Buddhism because of these, mostly because of these finds. And so you're saying, well, what does this have to do with your founders program? Get back to the point. Well, the point is this: these are birch bark scrolls. Very, very unlikely thing to survive 2,000 years. Very unlikely. Okay, and so how do we have these? And I've done whole shows on the scrolls themselves, and you can read about it, and it really profoundly affects our view of, especially Mahayana scripture. Really pushes everything back to like the time of Christ. It's really quite amazing how far back these scrolls actually go. So how did they survive? Well, they survived because it appears that Buddhists, and particularly Buddhists in the Gandhar region, had what was back then a very original idea. It wasn't a completely unique idea, but it was a very original idea, and that is the idea of the time capsule. And so these, for many of these, not all of them, but many of these scrolls that we have unearthed in the Gandhar region that have shed such incredible light on Mahayana scripture, these scrolls were rolled up and put into clay pots, like clay urns, right? And I guess the people of that time who did that maybe thought they were going to survive 2,000 years. I'm sure they hoped when they did it, but of course there was absolutely no way, no chance that these things would actually survive 2,000 years. Okay, guys. Well, they actually did. I mean, that's the bottom line, is that we only have fragments and pieces. We have only one or two actually complete scrolls. But this information survived 2,000 years. And here's the deal. It was buried in these clay pots with the remains of monastics, mostly, for the specific purpose of throwing this information forward, of taking this, specifically this information, these scriptures, and tossing them as far forward in time as they could. Because Buddhism is always looking to that. We're always looking to the possibility that Buddhism might die out. And how can we affect that? How can we do something about that? And this is the first time that we see in Buddhism, for sure, and in the world in general, really, of the idea of actually encapsulating information for the specific purpose of transmitting it to the future. Now, if you fast forward about 700 years, okay, from that moment, you have Padmasambhava. And Padmasambhava was, I mean, you could do endless shows about him and his life and what he did. But one of the things that he is renowned for is both spiritual and physical time capsules. And I'm absolutely certain that between that 700 years, the 600 or 50 or 700 years that intervene between the Gandhara time capsules and Padmasambhava having the idea to do it, I guarantee there's a continuum there. This was being done. The Gandharan time capsules are not the last ones we're going to find. Unfortunately, none of this material... Hey, can you stop? Because of the technology that they used with organic materials and clay and ceramic, none of this material has a snowball's chance of surviving 2,000 years. But yet it does. Occasionally it does, and we have little snippets of Padmasambhava's writings. We have snippets of incredible snippets of Mahayana scripture, some of which we didn't even know existed because of the Gandhara time capsules. So what is this? Again, what does this have to do with founders? Okay, It is because one of the things we're going to do here, we're going to sort of pay attention to and try to accomplish here at the Hermitage, is we're going to do our own time capsules. And I want to just give you an idea of how completely easy this actually is. So these right here are some basic ones. We're going to actually get better ones than this, but we can also get them on Amazon. This is actually time capsules for sale, guys, on Amazon. And I'll catch up with the chat, guys. I'm sorry, I'm over here on the browser, like sort of surfing. But so these are time capsules, guys. Now these are small ones, just for fun, kind of. The really nice ones will look a lot like this, but they will have a valve, and they will come with a can of argon. Sometimes nitrogen, usually argon, and they'll cost probably several $100s. But we can buy them as well. They're very easy to obtain. But the idea of the argon is once you've loaded the time capsule, you would then plug in the can of argon onto the valve, and you would force all the regular air out and nothing but argon in, and then you'd seal the valve and bury the time capsule. And the argon is inert, anaerobic gas, so no bacteria can grow. So printed material such as actual physical books or whatever would not be eaten alive by bacteria and whatnot. And also it just generally in general preserves to not have oxygen interacting with all the stuff that you put in these time capsules. We're gonna do a number of them. On the big ones, we're gonna have printed material, as well as we're going to try to send forward into time electronic data. And the way that we're going to do that is kind of specialized, and I've actually already thought it through, and it would be sort of the protocol to do it this way. But one of the problems. Hey, can you stop? Thank you. One of the problems that with sending, say, something like flash memory, like data, computer data, flash memory drives, and stuff like that. One of the problems with them is radiation. Now you can more or less shield out a lot of the radiation, and one of the things that you can do is use special drives. They're very easy to get now because it's become a hobby to build satellites. People are building CubeSats in their garages now, and so you can get drives, flash drives, that are built for outer space. Well, what does that mean? That means they're already hardened to almost every common known form of radiation. In the long run, the one thing that you can't account for is cosmic rays. Cosmic rays penetrate everything. They fly right through the planet like it's not even here, and they don't even stop. So eventually cosmic rays will wear down, but it will take over the amount of time that we want the time capsule to persist. The main time capsule that I want to do on the property, we want it to be what we call a 5,000 year time capsule. So we're not just going to hope like the original Buddhists in Kandahar did that it will last 2,000 years. We're going to scientifically build one that can withstand 5,000 years of time and still be delivered on the other end. So we'll do redundancy as well. We'll do multiple flash drives with the same data, so that any failures on one drive can be made up for by scanning the second or the third drive. And we are going to send printed material and even relics and other things like that. Now, again, what does this have to do with the founders? Well, of course, the founders' names are going in here. But more than that, we're going to actually set up a website where the founders can go and they can check their name and check their entry, their birth date and everything, to make sure for accuracy. And then we will allow all of the founders to attach their own text and their own media to their entry. So you will actually be able, as a founder, you will actually be able to send your own Dharma message 5,000 years in the future. That's going to be what we're going to put a plaque over the time capsule that says, please don't open for 5,000 years. So we're hoping that's how long it lasts. And that's not to say that if an archaeologist finds it in 2,000 years that they're not just going to say, well, we don't care about your rule, we're just going to open it anyway. But we're going to put a plaque on there that says not to open it for 5,000 years. So that's the target of the message, is 5,000 years in the future. And we're going to build a time capsule affordably for only a few $100s that I believe would survive scientific rigor to last that long. The time capsule itself is going to be buried in a titanium box that is going to be encased in one solid pour, what's called one pour reinforced concrete. So it's just going to be encapsulated in reinforced concrete inside of a titanium box, and then the time capsules will be in that box. So it's going to be pretty cool. And we're going to, of course, include all the cool translations of scripture that exist today in all the different kind of languages. We're going to include, electronic media and movies, Dharma movies from this time, this epoch of ours, and we're going to take all of that information and compile it over years. Actually, it's going to be years before I'm ready to actually bury the first one, maybe a year anyway, before I bury the first one. And then we're going to do several of them on the property, and then we're even going to do tiny little ones, probably like one of these, for even the dogs. Like when we do little stupas for the dogs as they pass away up here on the mountain, we will be doing tiny little time capsules for each of them with their data and their information. But the founders will definitely get, like I said, not only an entry in that, but they will get they'll get some control over it. They'll be able to sort of add media and add text. I don't know how much. We'll have to see what the space is on these specialized drives that we're going to use to transmit a lot of the electronic stuff. But yeah, so that is time capsules, guys. So let me go back and do the chat now. I'll bring the tripod back up. I think that's pretty much all of my presentation on the time capsules. Go back here. I got doggy mayhem going on in here, like, as you can totally hear. I don't know how much of that you actually had to hear. So let me scroll back here and see. So the link up there to become a founder. Please join also the Discord, guys, tonight. Trying to get more people in the Discord. Hello again to Irene. Of course, my sis. I think Bone is around somewhere. There he is. Yeah, birch bark disintegrates incredibly fast. These guys were so lucky. But it was also Gandhar. One of the reasons we have almost no surviving Pali canon that's really, really old at all is because of that, right? Because anything organic in India just disintegrates, right? So, but Gandahar's the desert. It's Afghanistan, right? So that is what gave it the slim little margin where those Gandhar time capsules, some of them actually made it, right? Unsealed, unbroken, the seal's unbroken, and that a lot, and there's one whole scroll that I know of, but a lot of interesting stuff in there, guys. Really ancient versions of stuff before, like, imagine reading the Diamond Sutra, guys, before it went to China, or before it went into Sanskrit. Because we believe now that it may have been the original language, may have been Gandhar for many of these Mahayana scripts. This is actually becoming the working theory, is that Gandhar was a primary, if not the primary, written language for almost all the Mahayana scripture. That's wild. I mean, they were writing this stuff down and burying it in time capsules, and they were writing it down for the very first time. Like monks were traveling from all over Asia to go to Gandhar, and then they would recite what sutras they knew by heart, and then they would be written down for the first time there in Gandhar. So it's wild that the idea that they could throw information so far forward, and with the scientific knowledge that we have and just a little bit of money, you can see where I showed you guys it's not very expensive to do this. We can also throw our own message in a bottle, so to speak, at the future, I think that's really cool, and it's very much in line. Like I said, Padmasambhava did it 700 years later. It's still done to this day, in Tibet. I'm sure that when the Chinese invaded, a lot of scrolls and scripture and really cool relics and stuff are still waiting to be rediscovered from the Chinese invasion of Tibet up on the plateau. So let me keep reading here, though. Hey, Bone, thanks for being here tonight, guys. Yeah, the loud doggies, right? Well, Buddha priest, we don't look at it here like that at the Dharma Wheel Sangha. We're universalists here. I believe that all the scriptures have their truth, and that all the Dharma doors are valid and legitimate. And so I don't use the term apocryphal at all. Not for Tibetan Vajrayana scripture, not for any scripture. I think that I encourage you to go look at my episode if you can. It's not hard to find, but in my show called the Dharma Bum Show on my playlists, and then there's an episode entitled Buddhism as a Hologram. And my belief is that what is a hologram? A hologram is this incredibly interesting thing where you've got information encoded in this thing, and then you can project out this whole amazing thing out of this thing, right? But the interesting thing about holograms is you can take any tiny little speck of that hologram. You could break the hologram and take a piece of the broken hologram, the physical part of it, the lens, if you will, and recreate the entire hologram from any given chunk of the hologram. And this is the way I see Buddhism and scripture in general and whatnot. Now, I'm not talking about New Age fringe groups or New Age new stuff that somebody innovated like in the 60s while they were on acid, but as far as just regular everyday lineages from Pure Land to Zen to all the different forms of Mahayana and Vajrayana, I think they're all legitimate Dharma doors. Yeah, there were texts that were sponsored by all kind of people. That's the thing. I mean, sifting through scripture is not about trying to find the exact thing, maybe that this is true or that is true. It's more of trying to understand what Buddha was trying to teach. And now I understand the idea about Mahayana. Mahayana is definitely very far out and very mystical. It comes out of almost nowhere, seems to appear out of almost nowhere in Gandhar, but of whole cloth, which means there was already fundamentally a belief system there. And of course the Mahayana believe that it goes all the way back to Buddha's disciple, who in the infamous Pali canon, where Buddha came out one day and instead of giving his usual teaching, he didn't say a word. He just sat there for 10 minutes holding up a flower. And one of the disciples smiled. And that disciple, according to Mahayana, of course, is the first patriarch. That's the first head of the idea of Mahayana. But who's to say? I think the idea is that it's different Dharma doors to suit different people. I find Pure Land, for instance, I have one of my dearest friends is a Pure Land priest. I would never argue with religion with him, right? Because it's like night and day, what we both believe, right? But yet I still pray to Amitabha that I might go to the Pure Land, right? It's actually not my own doing either. It's actually in Garshan Rinpoche's prayer book, is a prayer to Amitabha to go to the Pure Land. So we're not that far apart, right? I'm doing the Nishran, or whatever he calls it. I'm doing the prayer, right? So let me turn some light on, guys, and it's getting dark in here. I'm not used to doing this time schedule here, and I might have to do a break song while I release the Cretans, the monsters. There's my fire. See, you got the fireside chat going on, guys. Here's the Buddha candle. Well, we got to put them up on something, huh? Yeah. All right. So yeah, here. The one of the things that I like that's going on, guys, and I got to get some more information on them. But there's an incredible monastery that's been purchased. Actually, it's an old Catholic monastery, gorgeous place, absolutely stunning Catholic monastery, huge place, that was purchased by some Buddhists in New Jersey. And they're doing a twofold project. One, they want to bring monasticism to the people. So they want to have a place where lots of content creation can go on, where the monks can sit and do live streams and create their own little audiences and stuff like that. And I think that's a sort of a thrust of theirs. But then they're universalistic. They want to have all three schools there. And they've invited, so far none have gone, but they've invited anyone from any school, any monastic from any school, either sex. I guess it's a big enough place where they can separate easily, and so nuns or monks. And I think that's exactly the direction American Buddhism should be taking. At the end, at the National Cathedral, for the Walk for Peace, the most incredible, stunning moment, certainly in American Buddhism, arguably in Buddhism in the world. You know what I mean? At the end, when they put out the call, every single school answered the call. Zen, I have a friend who was there, and we're going to get an interview from him. Venerable Tarpa, if he's listening, if he's watching, we're going to get Venerable Tarpa on. He was there. I knew I saw him too, because he looks just like Friar Tuck, so you can't miss him, right? And I saw him on the stage, and I was like, that looks like Venerable Tarpa. He went, and of course he was on the East Coast, and I knew that, so I knew he could be there. And sure enough, he ended up being there. And we're going to get it. He's agreed to do an interview. He just had oral surgery, so he's going to be a minute before he can talk on the online. But we're going to get an interview with him about his experience in D.C. at the National Cathedral and at the Lincoln Memorial. And so, yeah, just to say that we're very universalistic approach here. Very, very much believe that every single Dharma door is valid, legitimate, and has its own truth, that sometimes it's just a mystery. You just have to puzzle it out. I believe it's all true. It can all be true all at once. There's no Dharma that has to cancel other Dharma out. There's no apocrypha in Buddhism. I think the only weirdness and the only danger really is the modern stuff, like the New Age twists that people try to put on Buddhism and present like sort of meditation and stuff as sort of this New Age sort of this cure-all for like all your ills, like all your mental illness and everything like that, is gonna disappear. Anyway, enough said. Yeah, I agree with you. Thank you, Ms. Irene. They all lead to enlightenment for those who are meant to be on that path. And sometimes you're not meant to be on that path. I mean, I can see where, maybe you become a Pure Land Buddhist and you're like, you know what, I just decided this isn't for me. I wanna follow Garshan Rinpoche. And I want to practice, bodhicitta and compassion and wisdom and meditation, insight meditation. So, you can change up. There's no saying, or you can do them all at once if you want to, there's no stopping you, especially if you're a layperson and I guess if you take the robes, you're kind of locked in, right? One direction or the other. But a layperson can sit in their own living room and practice them all and get something from all of them. Is my opinion. I just try to be pragmatic, I guess, and practical. I don't know about syncretic, but I try to be practical. I mean, to me, I will take anything from any school of Buddhism that's classical Buddhism, that's normal Buddhism. I'll take anything that gets me closer to my goal, which is enlightenment, for the benefit of all sentient beings. So anything that accomplishes that's within the Buddhist purview, I'm willing to give it a shot. I'm willing to do like Buddha said and give it a shot. And if it works, I'll keep doing it. And if it doesn't, then I won't. Yeah. If you're I would predict probably then that you might be Theravadin or whatever. The Theravadins do have a tendency to be somewhat fundamentalist in their approach. Some of them, not all of them though. take that approach to the Pali Canon and to Buddhism in general. But that's not unusual. You look at Christianity and you have that almost that same breakdown. Of where you have the ultra orthodox, right? You have the Greek Orthodox and the Eastern Orthodox who, practice it exactly the way it's been practiced for like 2,000 years, and then you have the the Pentecostals, who are all the way on the other side of complete innovation of everything. Really, they've just doing a whole new kind of thing, but it's all Christianity, right? And so it's just really, to me, the question of fundamentalism and universalism is really a question of perspective, right? And I choose a universalist perspective. I choose to believe that everybody's going to find their way, regardless of the Dharma door they go through. Enough that I can encourage them and even listen to them and their ideas and their thoughts about it. Myself, I'm Vajrayana Buddhist, and it's for one simple reason, man. I love the magic. Oh, there's my ebook, guys, coming up. Yeah, it finally announced the raffle. Hey, guys, if you want to get in the raffle, ! Raffle for the first one will be a free ebook. But I think I'm going to take a break, guys, and if anybody's got any questions about time capsules or the Founders Program or anything like that, and tomorrow we're actually going to do another episode around the same time, and we're going to talk about my books. But if you want to get a free ebook tonight, get in the raffle, and that's the prize for tonight. I'm going to do a break song, guys, and let these dogs out. I think I'm not going to run out of good break material and musical material for my show for like a year, guys, from the Walk for Peace. I mean, they're like the cornucopia that just keeps on giving. But anyway, I'll take a break, put the lights on. Well, yeah, like I said, it's just a matter of approach. I choose a universalist approach in everything, not just religion. I choose to believe that everybody has, that nobody, especially myself, has no lock on truth, no monopoly. So I converted from Catholicism, and I love to tell people my story is incredibly interesting because I actually never lost faith. My story of conversion isn't about losing faith in Catholicism. I simply gained more faith in Buddhism, enough to switch. But I still have faith in Catholicism. I still believe that Jesus Christ is something special. Call it a bodhisattva, call him a prophet, call him the Son of God. I don't care how you want to look at it, but there's something very, very incredible going on there, very special. And as a former Catholic Orthodox, I love the magic of it, the mysticalness of that particular branch of Christianity. I mean, they really believe that they can turn bread into Jesus, and that's super powerful. Good night, Irene. Is Irene leaving us? Good night, Irene. Sorry I didn't see it and didn't catch up on it. I gotta turn the lights on and let the dogs out. Anyway, for the benefit of all sentient beings, I really believe that any Dharma door you go through is a good Dharma door. So there were a lot of parallels. I'm actually writing a book about that. Because they go back quite a ways, and they involve all the schools, including Vajrayana Buddhism. The connections between Christianity and Buddhism are elaborate, and I'm writing an entire book just about that. I think it'll come out at Christmas time. Will be that book. Good night, Miss Irene. We love you. Thanks for coming. Why can I no longer enter the raffle? Why did you do that, bot? Hold on, I'll restart the raffle. And then I'm going to play a break song, and we're going to let the boys out. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. How do I restart it? Oh, well. I don't see literally like anybody in the raffle anyway. Nobody wants my book. Alright, I'm going to play a song, guys, and let the doggies out. That's a lot of prep, people. Let's focus. Alright, anyway, I'm gonna play a song, let the boys out, turn the lights on, and I'll be back and hang out for a little bit more with you guys. Thank everybody for tuning in. Check out the Discord server. The link is above. Make sure to get into the Discord. Check out the page for the Founders Program. If you're interested in becoming a founder, there's a link there. And then please, 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 guys, support the Dharma Wheel Hermitage. This place is it's a hermitage, a monastic grade place, a retreat center, built for poor people by poor people. Because I don't think any rich people are coming to our rescue. I heard Dr. Rob fishing for rich people today, and I don't think any rich people are coming to my rescue. Maybe Dr. Rob, but not to mine. Alright, I'm going to play a song. I'll see you afterwards, guys.
We are all visitors to this time, this place. We are just passing through. Our purpose here is to observe, to learn, to grow, to love, and then we return home.
The monks have come a long way, moving through fields and towns, carrying nothing but their robes, their walking sticks, and a quiet resolve. Life is short, they say in silence with each step. We are visitors in this world, here to learn, here to watch, here to love. And as their feet touch the red clay roads of the Magnolia State, it feels like the earth itself pauses, noticing their presence. From Louisiana to Jackson, Mississippi, the people come out to walk a few steps or many. Behind the saffron flame of robes, they come with children laughing, with elders nodding quietly, with neighbors who never met before, all feeling the simple pull of compassion. The monks lead, but it's a shared rhythm, a slow, steady blues beat in the heart of the city. At the Mississippi State Capitol, they are honored, not with fanfare or glitter, but with quiet acknowledgement. Residents and officials alike step aside to let the monks breathe in the moment. A plaque is presented, yes, but it's really a reflection, a mirror of what we are capable of when we choose peace over anger, compassion over indifference. The monks lead us speaks softly, reminding all who listen that peace begins in the heart, that a single breath of mindfulness can ripple far beyond the body it inhabits. Then they walk again down city streets lined with people and echoes of curiosity. The children run ahead, elders pace slowly behind, and strangers catch the rhythm of each footstep. One by one, Mississippi joins the meditation of movement, and Aloka, faithful little shadow of the pilgrimage, trots along, her tail a slow wag, pausing now and then to smell the warmth of life around her. When the road gets too long, she rides in the support car, resting her pause, but always ready, always eager to return to the march. Night falls, the streetlights hum like old guitar strings over the empty highway. The monks rest in pearl, and Aloka curls at the edge of the field, her bright eyes catching the faint glow of the moon. Here is the breath between blues notes. Life is short, we are visitors, we learn, we love, we watch, and then in the quiet they walk again. Morning comes slow like a bass line, rolling across the dew-soaked fields. Mississippi stretches ahead, Pillahatchie, Northern Forest. The road is long, but every step is a measure in the rhythm of intention. Community members bring water and bananas, small offerings of humanity. One woman's gesture went viral, a reminder that even a simple act of kindness can ring out like a soulful chorus across the miles. And the monks walk on, steady, calm, their faces touched by the sun. Because each breath is a gift, because each encounter offers a lesson in patience, compassion, and love. Mississippi's red clay roads and small towns, its capital steps, all bear witness to this slow, deliberate meditation in motion. The road stretches ahead, long and unbroken, the rhythm of the blues that is not a burden. It is the music of a life itself, step after step, breath after breath, one foot after another. The monks remind everyone that to walk in peace is to walk fully, not in haste, not for applause, but because the time we have is short and the lessons we receive along the way are everything. Aloka trots beside them again, her small paws keeping time with the rhythm of hearts, and the people who walk behind, beside, and around the monks learn what we are all here to learn. That life is short, that love is necessary, that observation is sacred, and that even the smallest gesture, a hand offered, a drink of water, a smile, can be a song in the key of compassion. And as they leave Jackson behind and continue into the soft haze of Mississippi morning, the message lingers. Life is short, and the lessons we receive along the way are everything.
Milwaukee stands as a living reminder that hope can be renewed, division can be softened, and peace can be fostered through the courage and sincerity of those who lead the world in the open front. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the citizens of Mississippi warmly welcome the delegation from our city, honor their historic pilgrimage across our state, and recognize their presence as the Mississippi Center.
We started in Fort Worth on the 26th of October to continue on this journey. And this is a very difficult journey for all the monks, but we already dedicated our life to this journey. So even though we suffer a lot on our foot, on our body, this physical body, but we still not giving up. We still fight hard to walk peacefully and mindfulness. When we cultivate mindfulness, when we walk each and every step that we made, that is mindful, and then we spread that message out to everybody. Hope that everyone will live in unity and harmony, and with this compassion, loving kindness, and peace, may you all be well, be happy, and peaceful. And we are very grateful that all the people along the road that offer us a lot of food, offer us a lot of snacks, water, socks, shoes, everything. It warms our heart.
A miracle wrapped in fur, returning to the beat. Our local walks with me through the mountains and the rain. Little heart of courage, little lamp against the pain. In his eyes the sunrise, in his steps a sacred key. Our local walks with me. Our local walks with me. Stray dog to brother, from darkness into light. He carries a simple truth through every day and night. That kindness is a refuge, and love can set you free. So our local walks with me. Our local walks with me.
No, Buddhist priest, that is not Buddhist music. That is good old-fashioned Mississippi blues. And it was composed by a Mississippi blues artist, specifically for the Walk for Peace monks, literally as they passed through Mississippi, and then released onto the Walk for Peace. If you're new to the channel, is something that we covered from all the way back from Christmas when they were in Texas, and we covered them relentlessly every week, hours and hours, every week, and then all the way to the end. And we did some live streams for when they arrived at the National Cathedral and the Lincoln Memorial, and made history. Really made American history, made American Buddhist history, made Buddhist world history. Really, I can't imagine a time when Buddhists of all schools have taken the world stage and been handed the microphone in such a fashion as what we saw at the Cathedral and at the Lincoln Memorial. So, yeah, that's we have an endless cornucopia, so many songs written, and most of the really good ballads were written while they were walking, which is just really amazing. So, some incredible music. Is it Buddhist music? Not per se. In fact, some of it's downright American. We've got some of my favorite ones are country songs that were written when they passed through the Deep South and the Southwest. There were a few country songs that were written. Push Kark Umar. We're gonna just call you Push for now. How you doing, Push? That's a lot of emojis, Push. Thank you for joining the stream, guys. Thank you for tuning in. The topic today was the Founders Program here at the Dharma Wheel Hermitage. It's a chance to become one of only maybe 10 founding members of the Dharma Wheel Hermitage and be involved in everything from, well, you get to come here for free to retreat here at the Dharma Wheel Hermitage for purposes of practice anytime you want for free. And then there's a number of other perks that come with it. Having your ashes spread on the property when you pass. You can have a prayer flag sent to us. We'll put it. We'll do a video and we'll put it on the main prayer flag tree, which is some 40 feet across. It's the largest structure on the property. Is our prayer flag tree. And then, of course, the topic of today's show, which was a big topic, was time capsules. And we're going to bury several of them here on the property, and you'll be in every one of them. And also people will get to add to their entry. It won't just be your name and, hey, this person was a founder, but you'll get to, sort of add text and media to your entry and send your own Dharma message to the future. 5,000 years, guys, but these are going to be 5,000. The main time capsules, there's going to be at least 2 main time capsules, and they're going to be what we call 5,000 year capsules, which is designed to be preserved 99% of the data across a time span of 5,000 years, and there'll be a plaque asking people not to open it for 5,000 years. Doesn't mean any archaeologist that finds it 2,000 years from now won't open it anyway. I mean, archaeologists, right? So they're very curious. But we'll ask them not to open it, and we'll see if they abide by it. Maybe they'll open it and then put it all back again for another 3,000 years. That would be nice of them to do it that way. But anyway, we're going to put it in the ground, send it to the future. What the future does with it is up to them. But we're going to send everything. We're going to send scripture, all the canons, by the way, Buddhist priests, including the Pali canon, the Gandharan canon, the various Chinese translations, Tibetan translations. We're going to send a lot of Buddhist scripture into the future in these time capsules. And it's very, as we talked about earlier at the top of the show, it's very traditional. It goes all the way back to, the birth of Christ, when the Gandharan monks were burying birch bark scrolls in clay pots, hoping that they would last. And some of them did. Believe it or not. That's amazing, right? I mean, with no technology at all. And we're going to use every kind of technology. We're going to have every scientific advantage when we do our time capsules that these folks only just really had luck and karma when they buried those birch bark scrolls. So it was an interesting show. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please consider becoming a founder of the Dharma Wheel Hermitage. We'd love to have you. Like I said, we're only going to have probably about 10 slots when we're done, when we close out that program, which will probably be soon. Like within the next week or two, we may close that program out completely, and the founders we have will be the founders we have. But it'd be a great deal of merit involved as well. Something to think about when you're involved in actually founding and building, any kind of monastic grade retreat spot or place or sacred space. That brings a lot of merit, and so that's another thing to consider. And yeah, any questions? Push, where you from? Push. Just gonna call you Push, I guess. Where you from, Push? Anybody else who's watching? Buddhist priest, thank you so much for being here. I don't know if Buddhist priest, what you're talking about. Who's prep? My prep? Should people focus on my stream because I prepped so hard for it? We could go back to the browser and look at the time capsules again. I really think the time capsules are quite cool, guys. I think it's so cool that you can just buy them just like that, right? And there's all kind of added stuff that you can get to help build your time capsules. I mean, there's just a whole little hobby industry behind this. I just think that's really cool. So we'll have no problem doing it. Like I said, I've got in mind already the equipment that I want to use, including like flash drives that are they're special drives. They're called space drives, but they're easy to get because the CubeSat hobbyist thing has become such a thing, right? People are building CubeSats in their garage by the thousands and thousands. So getting these space-worthy, if you will, or space grade hard drives are not hard drives really. They're flash drives, but getting them, and they're hardened for the kind of radiation that you would get in low Earth orbit. So that's something, and then we're going to put them in Faraday bags. And then just to double make sure, we're going to send 2 of everything. We're going to send 2 drives with matching data on it, so that because cosmic rays will eventually decay the memory, believe it or not. But it takes like tens of thousands of years. But cosmic rays will eventually wipe out sectors of the memory. But if you have 2 drives, the chances of both the same sector being wiped out on both drives is vanishingly small, like approaching 0. So these are going to be really cool time capsules, guys. It's a really fun thing to be involved in, and you'll get to send your own message in them as well. You are from India, and you are in India right now? That always amazes me that I can stream to anywhere in the world. Are you in India right now, Push? Certainly a very cool place to be. I think if I had to pick a place I'd rather be than where I am right now, it would be India. Dharamsala specifically. Although it's just a ghetto, really, right? The only reason you want to be there is because of the Dalai Lama, but still, that's a pretty big reason. So there's the actual part of the article on Padmasambhava that talks about the legacy of the time capsules and the termas, which were they weren't just spiritual. Like a lot of people misunderstand the termas. They think that it was just this thing where he encoded it into the astral realm, and people go to the astral realm and recover them. That happens, yes, that's part of it. But there were actual physical time capsules as well. The problem with Tibetan time capsules is the same problem that you have pretty much everywhere with primitive time capsules, and that is the technology used to produce the time capsules really isn't up to the task, not for lasting thousands of years. You really need something sort of high-tech and scientific to be able to really have any kind of a chance, because everything's against you. Like I said, even cosmic rays, right? Something you can barely even account for is against you. I mean, I think it now is a chance where you can actually build a 5,000-year time capsule and have a chance of it getting, like I said, with 99% transmission rate, transmit that data to the future. And I think it's part of our responsibility. I think Buddhists from the beginning have understood this is part of our responsibility. This is part of making sure it's an insurance policy that should, 5,000 years from now, how do we know what Earth is even going to be like, or who's going to be here, or what they're going to be doing, right? So Buddhism could literally have disappeared in 5,000 years. My personal opinion is that it will not have, but it could have, and this could literally be, a complete rekindling, a refinding of the faith. I mean, I'm not saying that our time capsules will be any more special than anybody else doing it, but it could be the one that, like, somebody finds it and goes, oh my goodness, they haven't been Buddhists in 1,000 years, and now now we've unearthed this, the basics of this faith. So, and who knows, Maitreya Buddha, you talk about the prophecy of Maitreya Buddha and the Buddha of the future. He's got to become Buddha somehow. And maybe the way that Maitreya Buddha, awakens and enters, enlightenment is exactly that, from running across the time capsule 5,000 years in the future. And that it allows him to become Maitreya Buddha. Who knows? I mean, we don't know how those prophecies are going to pan out or how they're going to be fulfilled. And that's, again, for Buddhist priests, that's only for us Mahayanas. I understand that trust me, I'm very, very schooled on the difference between the different canons. Can you guys quit barking? Why you guys want to just bark all the way through my show? Huh? Oh, now you got nothing to say. What? Is the house on fire? My goodness, guys. Well, anyway, pushes from India. That's wicked cool. I wish Shelly were here. I wanted Shelly to stop by so that we could talk about her thing. Ireland got their rosary. That's incredible news. That's really exciting stuff. Well, guys, I don't know. That might wrap it up. I kind of covered the topic I wanted to cover, and it looks like unless anybody's got anything to say, or any hellos, or goodbyes, or thoughts, give a like and subscribe to the video, whether you're watching it live right now or on the replay. Leave a comment if you want to on the replay. If you're watching on the replay, feel free to leave a comment. I do check all the comments, always. And then check the description of the channel for all of my socials. I do X, Blue Sky, TikTok a little bit, Mastodon. I'm on Mastodon as well. So follow me on my other social media feeds. Follow the YouTube channel. The stream tips, the link is in the description of this video if you want to give a stream tip. And we have a merch store as well. Check that out. And I'm going to probably see you guys tomorrow. I'm thinking about streaming again tomorrow. And tomorrow I'm going to talk about books. Specifically, my books. Books plural. Because I have a second one coming out in June. Or before. But definitely by June 1st. So tune in tomorrow night again, guys. Come back. Who knows? Maybe somebody will get into the raffle and we'll give some stuff away. Thanks for being here. Thanks, sis. Thanks, Bone. I'll see you in the morning, Bone. Bone's coming up the mountain to bring me peanut butter cookies, guys. There couldn't be a more sacred mission on all of Earth than Bone's pilgrimage to bring me peanut butter cookies. So we wish him well, and we should all give our prayers to Bone and his, because he's literally got to walk up the mountain, guys. I mean, the roads are completely impassable. In fact, most of the roads are underwater. At this point, I think technically I'm an island at this point. I'm pretty sure I'm surrounded by standing water. So, it's pretty soggy up here. Anyway, I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Love you all. And we got a closing song, so stick around. Don't run away. We'll close out with some cool music.
Bare feet on the open road, robes of saffron, hearts of gold. No weapons, no flags, no fear, only love walking far and near. Dust and sun upon their way, yet kindness guides them every day. They carry nothing but the truth, ancient as the morning dew. With every step the earth can hear, a vow of peace sincere and clear. Walking for peace, step by step with loving hearts, with mindful breath. From town to town, from soul to soul, compassion is their only goal. May all beings be safe and free in these footsteps of peace we see. Meta flows where they pass through, karuna in all they do. Joy for others, medita bright, equanimity through day and night. No matter pain, no matter cost, they walk for those the world has lost. Not shouting loud, not asking more, just silence speaking at our door. A living Dharma on the street, where suffering and hope can meet. Walking for peace, hand in hand, leaving love across the land. No enemy, no us or they, just one human family. May all beings be safe and free in these footsteps of peace we see. They walk as the Buddha once did, with bowl and robe, with heart unhid, teaching not by sword or flame, but gentle steps that speak the same. Hate won't end by hate alone, only love can lead us home. Through rain and heat, through wounds and strain, they keep walking just the same. Not for fame, not for praise, but for peace in troubled days. Each mile a prayer, each step a vow. Peace is possible here and now. Walking for peace, side by side with the world walking deep inside. If they can walk with hearts so free, so can you, so can me. May all beings be safe and free. May all beings live peacefully. May all beings be safe and free. May all beings be safe and free. May all beings be safe and free. May all beings be safe and free.